I got a call from Elon one day. He says, Peter, I have to resign from the board. I need to focus on SpaceX and Tesla. And he focused on those for a couple of years and then started 10 other companies after that. For me, I'm the same way. I'm involved in running 5 companies right now. I'd go nuts if I just focused on one. Actually, I think I would drive the entire staff nuts if I just focused on one. But the way I'm able to do it, you can't be CEO for all those companies. You need to walk away and let it sink or swim on its own.
So I think there's 3 different types of entrepreneurs. You have a parallel entrepreneur that starts everything at once, and then you have the serial entrepreneur that just, starts the next thing. And then I think you have the repeat entrepreneur where they just keep repeating the same business, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard to start things in parallel. You've got a lot of things going on. How do you make it work?
So I'll never forget, I got a call from Elon one day. He's on my board at XPRIZE. He says, Peter, I wanted to give you a heads up after resigning from the board. And I'm like, what happened? And he goes, I need to focus on SpaceX and Tesla. I have got to go down and focus on getting them. I said, I get it. I understand. And he focused on those for about, a couple of years and then started 10 other companies after that. And so for me, I'm the same way. I'm involved in actively running 5 companies right now. I have 2 12-year-old boys. I'm in the midst of 3-book production. And I love the variety. I go from one to the other with renewed vigor. I would probably be much more successful if I was heads down focused on one, right? No question at all. But the way I'm able to do it is you can't be CEO for all those companies.
Mm-hmm.
So like today, the XPRIZE Foundation occupies a great amount of my time, but I took the role as executive chairman, and I've got Anusha Ansari, who was our first benefactor. She's amazing, and she's the CEO, right? And so I spend 10, 20% of my time there. And Fountain Life, which is my play to reinvent healthcare at a massive scale. Again, I serve as executive chairman. Bill Kapp is the CEO. I start these things, and I step up and hire my replacement.
Yep.
My venture fund, Bold Capital, same thing. And I still bring the passion and love, and I'm there when there's a problem that needs fixing, or when I'm out meeting people and I find something fascinating, I can bring it to those children. But that's the way I see it. And I think I'd go nuts if I just focused on one. Actually, I think I would drive the entire staff nuts if I just focused on one.
So would you say then your superpower, you're a very good starter, and it seems like you're also very good at finding a good replacement as well.
Yeah, and I'm a communicator. I'm an integrator, right? So I'm on stage explaining what these companies are doing, helping them raise the capital. I'm also, I think what I'm good at is where is this going in the future? Like, what's the future direction of venture capital? What's the future direction of Singularity, Abundance 360, Fountain Life? And then really helping the CEO by looking a generation ahead, like constantly reinventing. If you're not disrupting your own company,
Mm-hmm.
someone else will. I think it's a very much a truism. And I'm there to help see, right now we're in the midst of going from XPRIZE 2.0 to 3.0. So I laid out that vision, got the board on board, and I support Anusha in implementing that vision. The same thing for Fountain Life. Super excited about where Fountain's going, reinventing what we've had for the last few years into the next generation. And so I can be sort of the advanced spokesperson. And when you're a founder of a company, you have a special status, for good or for bad. You're allowed to be the crazy person. You're allowed to be the visionary. If you're coming in behind that person and running the show, your staff, your team may not give you, it's like, let's just focus on what we're doing, right? But the founder can be kind of disruptive and support it. We saw this with, I think the most interesting companies are data-driven, founder-led experimentalist organizations, right? You can paint that as Apple with Steve Jobs and Amazon with Jeff Bezos and Larry and Sergey at Google.
Do you have a framework around starting something, deciding when the timing is right to pick your successor?
Yeah. First of all, there's a whole conversation on when's the right time to start stuff. So I've started a lot of stuff too early. We can talk about my failed asteroid mining company, which I still love and I still want to go back and do it, but I need to, start with a couple $100 million in my own pocket to fund
What
it.
happened there?
It was too early. We missed the financing. We had 2 launch failures as we were going for it. I mean, I had that conversation with Elon saying, listen, if I bring back liquid oxygen from carbonaceous chondrites and park it in Earth orbit, will you buy it? He goes, of course I'll buy it. And he said, but you're too early. And he was right. So, but we can get back to that. So the timing of when do you replace yourself, I think at the end of the day, the company's got to be well capitalized, right? Because you're going to be involved in funding that company, raising the money as the founder. I think the core staff has to be there, and you have to convince your funders and the core staff that this person you're bringing in is actually better at running the company day to day than you are. Or you need to walk away and let it sink or swim on its own. I've done that, where companies I've funded, I've started, but everything else I'm doing is just far more interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I need to walk away and let it sink or swim.